Learning how to take care of myself and fill my cup as a busy mom and entrepreneur has been one of the most important lessons that I have had to learn in my life. When I started having kids, when I was trying to grow my business, life was busy and I would have meetings pile up and the kids would be demanding and needing things. And there would be chores and groceries and laundry and just life in general. I just felt like every moment of my time was spent being pulled in all of these different directions. My time did not feel like my own, and I did not feel like I had control over my time. Over time, I became more angry, less patient, bitter, and just not a happy, peaceful, patient mother, wife, woman in general. And I realized that I was not the person that I wanted to be, and I needed to change that. What I recognized is that I did not know how to take time for myself to make sure that I was getting rested, that my cup was getting filled. At that point, I didn't even know what that looked like. I didn't even recognize how to fill my cup, let alone that I wasn't doing that. What I learned to do was to take some time to sit down and think about and just observe the things that I enjoyed doing and how I felt rested. And so I started to just notice, okay, when I do this, I feel good. When I do this, I feel drained. Apparently, I hate grocery shopping and I hate meal planning because I'm never happy when I have to do those things. And so I would work during the week, and then on the weekends, I would try and catch up, right? And I would try and do all the chores and clean the house and do the grocery shopping. And then I would get to Sunday night and I would have not stopped and I would not have rested. And so then I would go into another week not at all good, and just week after week after week, it eroded just myself. So I started getting to the point where I was like, okay, first of all, this cannot continue. I cannot keep living like this. And none of these changes are overnight changes. They're all slow changes, but anything we want to be foundational and long lasting has to start with the way that we think about our time, the way we think about ourselves. And I've had to first recognize that I was worth taking care of, and I needed to value myself enough to know that if I didn't take care of me, I was not a good mother, and I was not a good wife, and I was not a good friend. So when I was able to put it in that kind of perspective, it lifted some of that guilt that can come with oh no, I'm actually going to say no to some of these other things so that I can say yes to myself. What that looks like today is I recognize that when I get up in the morning, if I can start my day with quiet time, if I can start my day with prayer, with coffee, and with Bible reading and just quietness, that really sets me up for a much better day. So whatever time I know my kids are getting up, or whatever time I know I have to be out the door, I make sure to build in at least 30 minutes of just quiet time. I don't get up and immediately have to deal with chaos. I don't get up and immediately check emails. I get up, I grab a cup of coffee, and I sit and I pray and I read my Bible, fill my cup, and give peace to my soul so that I can start the day better. And that goes a long way. The other things that I started doing is really prioritizing fun and rest on my weekends. I only have so much control over my work week. Things can get a little crazy when you're dealing with work and school and business and meetings and appointments and all of the things. So while there are some habits that I have had to instill as far as time blocking and productivity and getting up early in the mornings, I really save a lot of my self-care and rest time for the weekends. And so part of my plan for doing that is I try to get all of my chores done during the week. So that way I'm not grocery shopping on the weekends. I am not doing chores on the weekend. I am not running errands on the weekend as much as possible. So I try to do everything during the week. I order my groceries online. I try and have a meal plan and do it so that when I get to Saturday and Sunday are free. It is time for reading. It's time for going for walks. It's time for spending quality time with my family. It's time for playing games. It's time for baking if I like to bake on a weekend. It is time for going on a coffee date with a friend. It is time for things that I know fill my cup. It's time for getting out of town for the weekend, and really intentionally reallocating my schedule and my calendar so that I just lump everything together in a week and I allow the weekends for rest. If I want to take a nap, I can take a nap. If I want to watch a movie, I can watch a movie. And I do it all without guilt because I know I'm taking care of the other things. I'm asking for help. And it's also realizing that I don't have to do everything on my own. I am not the only one who lives in my family. I have a husband, I have children, and I ask them for help. They are active contributors to how the household runs. And so I have taught my children to do things, and I have talked with my husband about how we all contribute together. And so that I don't feel like that I'm the one who has to do everything for everybody. The kids can take care of their own laundry. They're helping unload and load the dishwasher. They know how to clean up the house and clean the bathroom and everything. So I'm teaching them skills so that I am not the one who is responsible for taking care of all of these things, and they're helping contribute too. Also with the understanding that, hey, if you contribute, if you help me and we can get this all done, then we have time to go to Barnes & Noble and grab coffee and just hang out. And we have time to go and ride our bikes and go to the park. And so that's incentive for them as well to be like, oh yeah, like I'm going to help mom because I want to do those fun things and I want her to do that with us. Just being intentional about one, identifying what does fill my cup. And obviously that's different for everybody. For, it might be gardening or hiking or hunting or baking or whatever, but really you have to structure time for that. And that takes intentionality and that takes focus, and it takes saying no to some things so that you can say yes to yourself, knowing that that is helping to contribute to you being the best version of you that you can be. So being the best mom you can be, being the best wife that you can be, because your family wants you. They want your time. They want your attention. They want your laughter and your joy and your peace. They don't want you to be stressed and overwhelmed and yelling at everybody because you're trying to get all these things done, and they just want to be with you. So by you prioritizing yourself, you get to spend that time with them. You get to appreciate and benefit from that. And that just helps the family, and it helps your marriage, and it helps you.